was out walking my dog on our street here, and I noticed that there was a dead bird on the ground, and it was covered in flies. And I know he'll often go after anything dead, you know, meat, I guess. So I took the bag I had and I grabbed it, and I got stung. And I initially had a really bitter taste in my mouth, and then I started getting really hot and faint. So I laid down here in the couch, and I just said to her, things are just going so bad, I have to phone 911.
The first thing that she had told me was that she was stung by a bee and she wasn't feeling well. And so I continued on to go through the questions, asking her if she had ever had an allergic reaction before, if she was having any difficulty breathing, and she was.
I gave them all my information, and I tried to get to the door, and I couldn't make it for the paramedics to come in, and I don't remember too many details of what happened.
At that point, she started to have snoring respirations, and she was hardly even talking, and I believe she did become unconscious. So I advised my dispatcher that they were going to have to use forcible entry to get into the house.
We could see her through her doorway. She was laying in the hallway. I assumed she was trying to unlock the door for us, but she wasn't able to make it. So the fire crew was able to get inside with forcible entry, and we found the lady, our patient, laying on the ground. She was unresponsive, and she's really swollen to her face. She's having a tough time breathing.
Snoring respirations, we couldn't really get much out of her, so we just got oxygen on her right away and gave her some epi.
We loaded her up immediately and took her into the ambulance. We started an IV and gave her some fluids on the way to the Victoria Hospital. And we ended up having to give her another dose of the epinephrine because her symptoms were still quite severe. So on the way to the hospital, she was kind of mumbling a little bit to us, and as we got closer to the Victoria Hospital, she was able to speak a few words.
I just remember driving to the hospital, and all of a sudden I started hearing a female's voice back there, and I thought, oh, that must be the patient, that must be her talking again. And so, yeah, it was really exciting to hear that, yeah, she was making progress.
I think if she had an EpiPen that was available to her, you know, her symptoms would have still been quite severe, but she definitely could have bought herself some time.
Oh, I have 2 of them with me in my purse all the time, and if I go for a walk, I take them with me.
Carrying that EpiPen is definitely huge. You know, if you've gotten stung by a wasp once before and, you know, something was a little bit funny, you should definitely consider to carry something like that.
Always suggest it's a good idea to phone 911 because even our first dose of epinephrine wasn't quite enough. She needed that second dose to get over. So yeah, you know, her symptoms could have been a little bit less severe had she administered herself an EpiPen before, but yeah, it's tough to say, you know, what the actual outcome might have been.
They say it just buys you that time, and considering that I was unconscious fairly quickly after it happened, that yeah, I would never have been able to make a 911 call, you know, if I hadn't phoned right away.